This is a good one. I'll talk about it with understanding the whole 60-40 thing I talked about before, but then also the fact of how you want to what was I saying? Of course I blank right when I start the video. But I want to show him the options, because he asked me now pretty much if I had this house, the one I do, like I said, we bought it for 380,000. Bought it for 380,000. Within 3 or 4 months, the house already appreciated to 468 or 480,000. And why did it go up that much? Because the neighbor house behind me sold for 450,000, same model, and then the 3 houses down the street, they're all the same model, but they're all 1,000 square feet smaller and 2 bedrooms less. They all sold for 20,000 more than I paid. They sold for 400,000, which is crazy. So that's how my value went up. It's not really, I didn't have to renovate the house, I didn't have to flip it, I didn't have to remodel it, and I still was able to make that money. That's simply based on what your neighbors are paying. That's just understanding the market, right? So that's what happened. And now the question I got asked was, will I sell the house and flip it to take the money, or sell the house and flip it? That's pretty much the only assumption that people get. And I said that's not really true. So I could sell the house, and if I was, I'm going to wait. I purchased the house, I closed in February. I'm going to wait till February to sell it, so then that way I don't have to pay taxes. And now you can do the 301 redirect. However, and the redirect means if you sell your house for a gain in under a year, you put it into a holding company, or you could pretty much put it into another property of equal or more value, and you don't have to pay the taxes. Only downside is that you still need to find another property. You still got to put the money into it, go through that whole situation. And for some people, that may not be the case, especially if, imagine you just get a house, it increases in value, you want to sell it and just take the money and walk. You don't want to kind of get caught in that limbo. But the next thing I told him is that I could now either cash out refinance, or I can just refinance and get a lower payment. So right now, the mortgage that I have is just below $3,000, right? $3,000 a month. And now one thing that's big on it is I'm paying roughly, let's see what the mortgage payment would be. So it's $350,000. Invalid home price, $351,000. Let's see. So that's saying it's factoring it in at this much. And now again, this is all dependent on the interest rate. I have a lot higher interest rate. It's 1.25. I still don't even think it'll adjust. It's almost there. But also, yeah, though, this factors in tax and insurance. Yes, it's a similar payment actually. So and I like to pay extra on mine. But now take a look at this. I pretty much have $287 a month of my mortgage is going towards insurance, because how mortgage insurance works, if you put down less than 20% of the home value, you have to pay mortgage insurance. You have to pay an insurance company to insure just in case you default on the loan. It's for your borrower. Think about what we were even talking about with bonds and understanding, risky versus less risky. Does it make sense why they make you pay for mortgage insurance if you have less than 20% down? This is your guys' part where you answer.
Yes, because in case you default, the loan is covered.
Well, exactly. But now why do they pick an amount like 80%? You have to have 20% paid down.
In case the market drops more than 20%, they're covered.
Exactly. It's looking at the value of the home, so that if in the event that something did happen, would the value still, it would still be somewhat of a valuable asset. And they want to make sure that you've already paid off a decent chunk, so that you have an interest in keeping the home. Otherwise, you don't just walk away if you have 1% down like I do. So that's why I have to pay for the mortgage insurance. So what I'll be doing, and the thing that's good about it is I can now refinance the loan and I could eliminate my mortgage insurance. Why? Does anybody know how? My loan amount, I still owe the same amount of money on the house, but how can I eliminate the mortgage insurance?
By refinancing, because now the value is more than 80%.
Exactly. See, because now I owe 351,000, right? Divide that by the purchase price of 380. My loan to value, this is how you calculate, this is what people say by LTV or loan to value. My loan to value is 92%. Does that make sense? I pretty much have loaned out, I've borrowed 92% of the value of the home. You guys with me?
Okay.
So now the house is now worth 480,000 because it appreciated this 20% in the year. So now I still only owe 351,000, right? But now the home is worth 480,000. So now what's my loan to value?
73%.
73%. So now I knock off that $2,800 from the mortgage payment. See that? Or the $280. And then now that I've already paid, I'm going to refinance. I was offered a rate of 2.4% interest. Oh, that's 24% interest. So now think about that. 2.4% minus 300 bucks, my mortgage will come down to 17. The other guys, they quoted me pretty much at $1,400 is what I'll be paying. So now think about it. If I kept the equity, do you see in that instance, I'm keeping the equity in the home. You guys with me?
Yeah.
That makes sense, right?
Yes, sir.
Because the house appreciated 25% in that 4 months. Instead of pulling the money out, which I'll show you next, I'm keeping the equity in there. And by doing that, I'm now lowering my mortgage payment. And now I could just turn this into a cash flow property. And I could go buy another house or even go buy another supercar. Because the houses, my neighbor's house down the street, this one's 800 square feet smaller, 1 bedroom smaller. It just got leased. They put it up for rent. Guess how much they rented it for?
Shit, probably like $3,000.
Smaller than my house, they rented it for $2,900. So now, if my mortgage payment's $1,400, I'm literally cash flowing $1,500 a month. That's literally a payment on a Lamborghini Huracan if I wanted it. Or even better, now if I come up with a small down payment on another home and I could get my down payment down, that cash flow could literally pay the mortgage of a smaller priced property. And now I could have 2. And then rinse and repeat until all of them start cash flowing. You do that for 10, 15 years, you'll be cash flowing like 50 grand a month. So that's how that works. But now here's my other option. Are you ready? Cash out refinance. So in this case, I owe 350,000. That's what I still owe. But now the value of the home is higher. So what they will do is give me the option to cash out refinance, meaning I can take, and how cash out refinance works, it's a maximum LTV of 85. So they will let me pull up a loan as much as 85% of the home value. You with me? So if the home is 480,000 times that by 0.85, the max amount of money I could pull out is how much?
408,000.
408,000 is the max that I could pull out. So now minus that from 351,000, I could pull out $57,000 cash. So what they would do is literally they would issue me a loan of 400 and I would pretty much owe now 408,000, right?
Okay.
But 351 would be paying off the old mortgage, right? They'd pay off the other mortgage and then establish a new mortgage, and then they would give me $57,000 hard cash. Pretty cool.
So
Huh?
you're freeing up capital from your asset used elsewhere.
Exactly. You're pretty much still getting a loan on it, you know what I'm saying? Because you're increasing the, now I only owe 351. If I would still technically owe this money back, but I'm just pulling it out from the value of the home.
You want to do that when the dollar's high, I assume.
Exactly. So now check this out though, because there's one thing I was talking about, because somebody asked about mortgage insurance. They said, because remember, if you have 80% or less LTV, you don't have to pay mortgage insurance, right? So think about it. You could save $300 a month. So if I pulled out 57,000, I would still be paying my mortgage insurance, right?
Right.
That would suck. But now here's what you have to weigh the drawback. Imagine if I just did 480,000 times 0.8 now instead of 8.5. The amount is 384 minus that from what I owe on the home still. I could only now pull out 33,000 instead of 57,000.
Gotcha.
But now that's where I would do the cost benefit analysis, because think about it. That's a $24,000 difference. The mortgage insurance is going to be $3,000 a year. See what I'm saying? Divide that by
We'll take the full thing.
24,000. Ah, shit. Oh, that's good. Take a key.
Yeah, I got you.
24,000 divided by, what was it, 3,444? So pretty much, it would take, that mortgage insurance would take almost 7 years if I'm paying that mortgage insurance for me to give back that money. Because think about it, when you pay the mortgage insurance, you're throwing it away essentially. But that would be 7 years it would take for me to lose that. So essentially, you got to do the cost benefit. Are you really saving money now? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you just take the full 57.
I'd probably just take the full 57 because, why would I? It's not as if the mortgage payment's it won't kill me, and I'll be able to access almost double the money just off of that measly 5%, which is kind of crazy, right? But now, so do you guys see? This is how you do the cash out refinance, and now these are the options I could take with the home, because literally I could sell it after a year, not pay taxes, refinance, keep the equity in the home, rent out, turn it into a cash flow, or lastly, I could just cash out refinance, and I could still, it would pretty much lower my payment too, because I would get a lower interest rate and I would just owe a little more. Let's see. So I did 408,000. Literally, the payment in this case, oh no, that's at 3.4, no, 2.4. So literally, I could essentially pull out the same, I could pull out 57,000 and refinance at 408, and my mortgage payment would be exactly the same. Pretty crazy, huh? So
Right there.
Interesting.
that's how this whole process works. And then I could go, once I cash out refinance, think about it, I have $57,000. I could go put down 20% down on a $250,000 property. I could go buy a $250,000 condo, and I could go live in that if I wanted to. I could go buy a nice little high rise. I could go rent it out and live in that, or I could go buy both of them and rent both of them out, and now cash flow on that one as well too. Because now if I bought a condo with 20% down with 250 grand, put that 50 grand down, I won't pay mortgage insurance. Only thing will kill me is homeowners. But then I could cash flow off that with rent. Pretty cool, huh?
That's still
Just got to get that first one down.
That's what I'm telling you. All you do is get the first one, And this is why I want all you guys to get houses, because this is what you're going to be able to do. Simple as that. You got to get the first one working for you. You know, you make one good move, you're fucking set. That's it. All you got to do is be smart about
And that's what I was thinking about earlier when I was like, when we're searching for these homes and for these units on Redfin, man, you can search for hours and hours, but is there a list of like key identifiers? It's like, I'm looking for this, 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 and that, not looking at anything else to, I guess, make the search more proficient.
it. I guess in the case that, using my method, best would probably be the time it's been on the market, because that's how we're going to be able to take advantage of pricing. But that's pretty much all I could think of, because it's just so crazy, because real estate is so dynamic. You know what I'm saying? Every property is going to be so vague. Really what I do, I just zone in on the area that I want, that I know has potential to go up and actually increase in value and is a good prospect. And I just look around the area, because sometimes you won't see stuff. I've blown over some amazing properties in my life, so you don't want to. There's nothing wrong with the time. You just got to actually just know what you're looking for yourself. You know what I'm saying? How much money are you trying to put down? What type of home are you trying to buy? What area? Single, or the best, limit it. The best filter, just do single family home. Don't even look at condos. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so not the multifamily, like
No, get
we're
multifamily.
discussing.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
single family residence is, I just mean a literal home, land in a home, not a condominium, not an apartment, not a co-op, not a duplex.
Okay.
But
Yo, Josh, did you ever get a chance
did I get what?